Last year, the Houston Texans had 2 first-round picks, would prove to be home run picks. This year, they start with 2 second-round picks. DP, welcome to the draft room, man. We're about to get into this conversation with the Houston Texans, who was everybody's last year's Cinderella story, right? But guess what? Now the expectation, the bar has been risen, and we expect you to make it to the playoffs. And we look at this 2024 NFL draft class and who's immediately going to be able to impact this football team. And I start with cornerback from Georgia, Kamari Lassiter.
Kamari, that's tough, gritty, physical corner, well coached, by Kirby Smart, and understands how to play winning football, right? That pedigree that we talk about, and he understands that a guy that to me can play man, can play zone, can walk down into the nickel if you need him to. And when you already have an elite caliber cornerback, yes, I said elite caliber cornerback, and Derek Stingley Jr., just having a guy opposite of him just does wonders for the defense, especially in this DeMeco Ryans led defensive system.
Yeah, when you think about the cornerback position, right, you talk about those guys that potentially tackle, don't tackle, right? You feel like Kamari Lassiter is a DeMeco Ryans type of football player. You talked about it, right? This guy, I believe he blew up Xavier Legette, right?
Yes.
Mr. 220 pounds himself, a first-round wide receiver. But that's when you start to know the mentality of the guy. And you look at what Houston is trying to build, trying to be the most physical football team, right? And I think they're trying to have a kick you in the teeth type of situation when they arrive in the stadium. So I really like that pick. But start with the next pick, right? Like I said, 2 second-rounders. And this is a guy that flew under the radar for many draft people, right, in the draft community, and that's offensive tackle from Notre Dame, Blake Fisher, a guy that we both liked a lot. It was just easy. Yes. It was steady, right? And we said, you know what, nobody's talking about him because he's kind of boring, but he's kind of boring because he does his job consistently.
No, 100%. As a tackle, when your name's not called and people don't know you, it can be a little different. People are like, I don't know that guy. It's probably a good thing because he's not getting, you're not calling his name because he's not giving up sacks. He's not giving up a ton of pressures. You use the word steady. He's steady Eddie. He gets the job done. Game in and game out. On the right side, you have an elite caliber OT1 in Laramie Tunsil. I think Micah Parsons has called him the best in the game, right? And a guy that has played well against him, against Myles Garrett. Like, he's just one of the best tackles in the game. Titus Howard, I think, may be more of a candidate to kick down the guard inside and allow Blake Fisher to just be that technician and to be that steady Eddie guy on the right side. Now you have good interior offensive line, because there were times where people think that CJ had all the time in the world. No, that offensive line had some leaks and some cracks in it last year. He just was kind of making some magic happen. I think now if you can reduce Titus Howard back to guard or into guard, start Blake Fisher, have Laramie Tunsil, stock is even higher for CJ Stroud with even more protection in 2024.
I agree 100%. I think they took a position of need, right? And they took it and addressed it. And I really like Blake Fisher. Like I said, but let's transfer back to the defensive side of the football, back to the secondary. And they went with USC safety, Kalen Bullock, who, if we look at it, right, probably one of the best ball-hawking type of guys. And I like him in this situation. Reason being is this, that they run that cover 3 scheme. He's going to play the free safety position. They are not going to put him close to the line of scrimmage. And to be completely honest, that's one of his deficiencies. But you also look who is on this depth chart, Jalen Petrie, right, a guy that can be that move guy. He would be that strong safety, a line in the nickel and do some of those things. So I think that when we look at the way defense is played nowadays, right? It's all about taking the football away. And I think the Houston Texans, they say, you know what, we want to do that, right? We want to get us a guy that can play sideline to sideline, has the range, can take away the deep ball and the deep shots.
100%. He's an outfielder, Keith. You know what I mean? He's that guy that has the range where you think you got that home run and he steals it from you. That's what Kalen Bullock is able to do. And with DeMeco Ryans, he runs a decent amount of quarters, right? Cover 4. And being able to have that guy, 2 high safeties with him and Jalen Petrie, like I said, Derek Stingley, now Kamari Lassiter, you can force offenses to chuck the ball down, dink and dunk, rally to the ball, play physical defense, keep everything in front of you. And I think this is a great situation for Kalen because, again, DeMeco Ryans is one of the best defensive minds in the game. He's not going to put him in compromising positions, and that's typically how you get the best out of players.
Yeah, I think this is about activating Will Anderson also, right? We always say, right, the front end and the back end, they have to work with each other. They have to be in sync. So you want to activate a guy like Will Anderson, who had a good rookie year. Now it's about consistently getting those 10, 12 sacks per year, and I think addressing this secondary makes it a whole lot easier for Will Anderson. But listen, I talked about it at the top of this show, right? And I talked about how in 2023 they had 2 first-round picks, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. It's hard to duplicate that, right? But I want to look at this 2024 NFL draft. They didn't start till the second round, so we understand that some prospects were off the board, right? Quite naturally. But I want to ask you, as far as a draft grade for this Houston Texans team, what are we giving the Houston Texans?
Give them a B minus. Being able to attack two specific needs early in the second round with Kamari Lashler and Blake Fisher, guys who I think can start day one, come in as rookies and be impact players. One on the offensive line, the most important group on the field, and the other being in the secondary, because at the end of the day, Tennessee has Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins now, right? You look at Indianapolis, they're going to have Josh Downs, Adonai Mitchell, and Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce to throw into that mix as well. You got to be prepared to play coverage with multiple DBs. I think they still have Jimmy Ward there. I think a B minus is a pretty decent grade for what they were able to accomplish.
Yeah, especially without any first round pick, right? So it's a little bit difficult, man. But listen, there's a big difference, right? When you enter the NFL season and you go from the hunter to the hunted. So we will see how this Houston Texans team respond with this 2024 NFL draft class.